Jeep and Eagle dealer.
This is CNN.
Hurricane Andrew is now a memory for Louisiana residents, but the scars it carved leave many lives uprooted. Another showdown between Saddam Hussein and the Allies is set to begin. It appears military force is waiting in the wings.
This is CNN's Prime News with Bernard Shaw in Washington and Cheryl Atkinson sitting in for Susan Rook at the CNN Center in Atlanta.
Thanks for joining us. Hurricane Andrew is now classified a tropical storm. But for the victims of the hurricane, that is little consolation. 19 people died. Hundreds of thousands are homeless. And the damage is estimated to be upwards of $15 billion. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, high winds caused power outages, destroyed homes. 4 inches of rainfall caused massive flooding. Residents of Lafayette, Louisiana, came home today to survey the wreckage. Officials there say they do not know how many people were injured by the hurricane. In Morgan City, powerful winds shattered car windows and knocked down trees. But the police chief there says people feel lucky because there have been no reports of injuries or deaths. From Lafayette to Baton Rouge, Morgan City, New Orleans, and LaPlace, people are now struggling to pick up the pieces and get on with their lives.
In some parts of Louisiana, the night held more terrors than hurricane-force winds and torrential rain. In LaPlace, people are talking about the tornado that dipped out of the sky and raked across the land.
And my brother noticed it sounded like, he said, I can hear something coming. I've never heard one before, but it sounds like a tornado. And my dad was right by the front door and said, here it comes. And me and my mother hit the floor in my bedroom, and we can hear the roof just tearing off. We can hear it like sound like peeling paint off a house. And all of a sudden, the next thing I know, the wall hit my back, and I hit my mom, and she went into the hall. And that's it. Next thing we know, here we are cleaning up.
The loudest noise you ever heard. When y'all finish walking down the street, you're going to see the rest of the damage. This house was here, it's disintegrated. It's gone. There's a house here just disintegrated. There's 5 others down the street that's, is demolished.
Reports say the LaPlace tornado killed 1 man and injured 33 people. At least 100 homes are damaged or destroyed.
President Bush has been getting a first-hand look at the damage in Louisiana. The presidential motorcade splashed its way through the streets of New Iberia. Mr. Bush and Louisiana Governor Edwin Edwards stopped to chat with residents who made it through this storm. The president promised federal government help, but later he said he recognized that the government could never do enough.
Destruction is hit, arrived here in Louisiana on the winds of this hurricane, and let's answer it as Americans always have, with the neighbor helping neighbor concept. That spirit that arrives on the wings of hope. And I'll tell you, at this kind of time, that true American spirit of a neighbor helping neighbor really means something.
And at this hour, the president is on his way back to Washington.
One of the hardest hit areas of Louisiana is Morgan City. CNN's Jeff Flock is there and has been surveying the damage and listening to the stories people are telling. Jeff?
Yeah, Cheryl, we want to hear those stories right now at this shelter that we've been holed up in, I guess, for now more than 24 hours. It's a chance for some folks to eat. The folks from the Salvation Army finally came in, and there were about 500 folks here originally. Now maybe 100 or 150 or so now with an opportunity to eat, and we're right sort of in the middle of that. We want to get some of those stories, but first we want to give you a sense for what it was like here in Morgan City and a sense for what it looks like now. There is tremendous damage in this town. There are trees uprooted. There are cars with windows blown out. There are homes with the roofs torn off. There are power lines down. They say it will be 2, perhaps 3 days before power is restored here. We have power where we are because this is an emergency shelter and there are backup generators. But the rest of the town figures to be 2 or 3 days without power. There are National Guard troops that are here now. We're going to get the latest on that a little bit later. But first, I do want to come over and get behind these folks, and perhaps the people that you see here are volunteers. Those with their backs to us are volunteers who are now helping feed their fellow townspeople. And these are people that have all been through the hurricane. And I want to get a sense for some of these people right in the middle of what they're doing. I'm going to interrupt them if I can. Ma'am, can I interrupt you for just a moment? Tell me about it. What was your experience like?
I was scared, but help to God, we made it all through this here.
Where were you?
Here at the auditorium.
What about your home? Where does that stand now?
Well, my home stands all right. Just got a lot of trees in the yard and stuff.
You're a lucky one.
Yeah, I'm a lucky one.
Okay, let's see who else is lucky or not lucky. What was your experience like with a storm?
Very scared. Well, we got a lot of water in our house, but...
How do you mean? Is it flooded?
No, it's just water around the floor. But everything came out all right. We have a lot of trees in our yard, too.
Anybody hurt or anything?
No, sir.
Pretty happy about that. Yeah. Let me sneak on down. I know everybody's right in the middle of helping here, so we're going to have to pick our spots carefully. Ma'am, tell me about your experience with the storm. Your first hurricane?
Yes, sir.
What was it like?
It was scary, but, thank the Lord we all made it through. Nobody that I really know of my friends was hurt, and stuff like that, but I hope it go by. I hope it goes, This really my first time, having fun, like helping, volunteering, to do stuff like this here. But I really enjoyed all this here, too.
Good deal. Thanks very much. Appreciate you all sharing your comments with us. CNN correspondent Ed Garston has been out today. We've been here in Morgan City. He's been out surveying the damage elsewhere. He has found a lot of places that have a lot of damage, a profile of a particular town that he visited that very difficult to get into there. CNN's Ed Garston now with a report on what Hurricane Andrew has done.
When Andrew blew through Jean Rett, the walls came tumbling down. And the windows. And trees. And most of Ruby's grocery store. Roby's, too.
When we had a situation where we knew we couldn't stay in the store, I immediately called the chief of police, which I know very well, and asked if they send someone out, anyone, to come and try to get us somewhere else besides the store, that we could not stay in the store any longer. So, acting up on our request, Chief Khan sent out a bunch of units, and they ferried us across the street to City Hall, where we rode the rest of the storm out till early this morning.
Even the high school turned shelter wasn't immune. More than 300 people were sleeping off the storm in the gym when the roof above them surrendered to Andrew's fierce wind and rain.
The lights went off and everybody panicked and ran up, started running over one another. It was very frightening.
We were laying down, me and the baby were laying down, and I looked up and I said stuff was falling, and then the pipe started shaking, so everybody got up and said, no, we need to get out of here. And I said, hey, get up, it's time to go here. I said, we got to get out of here, the roof's falling in. And
mobile homes became all too mobile, and protective structures could no longer do their jobs. Virtually every downtown business was damaged in the city of 7,000, including the Gomez Army store.
Did you lose a considerable amount of damage, or you able to save most of it?
I don't know what I've really lost. There's still a lot of stuff, on the floor and everything.
Those who didn't evacuate say Andrew made a frightening entrance.
Oh, it was shaking really bad. I mean, bad. It felt like it was coming off the blocks.
But Police Chief Ted Kahn says there was just one minor injury, and Jean Rett may have coincidence to thank.
We did have a tabletop exercise about 3 weeks ago on a hurricane scenario, which is just about what we had here. Worst case scenario, class 4, category 4 hurricane come through in Iberia Parish on a direct hit.
Reverend Arthur Jones and his family were lucky. All they lost was an old oak tree in the front yard. Now he must tend to those not as fortunate.
As a local clergyman, how will your job change? What will you need to do now?
Nothing more than what I've always done. Inspire people to have faith in God, certainly, to get through this, as we've done with other problems that we've had here in the city.
Well, bricks and glass can be quickly replaced, but when sugarcane is laid low in the field, well, that's real trouble. It was supposed to be the best sugar crop in years. The folks around here were counting on it for a big payoff. But now nearly all the sugar that would sweeten this area's paltry economic pot is destroyed.
It's going to be devastating because not only are we going to have to come up with a plan to rebuild our stores, our businesses, and our homes, but the sugarcane crop is a vital economic boon every year right about this time.
But the folks around here say they're tough. They'll make it, and they're ready to go home, hoping they have a home to return to. Ed Garston, CNN, Jean Rett, Louisiana.
We don't want to get away without giving you the latest on the situation in town right now. Lieutenant Greg Parker, Louisiana National Guard troops here. How many?
We have 53 inside of Morgan City.
How about the whole Gulf Coast, all the communities that were evacuated?
By now, there's probably over 1,000. I can't give you an exact figure.
Give me a sense for what you're doing.
Right now, we've come in to augment the city police and the sheriff's department in helping them control any looting that's going on, if there's any occurring, and basically augmenting their police department.
You personally aware of any looting or any problems so far?
So far, there hasn't been any reported, but there's nobody here. That's really why we're here, because there's no population in Morgan City to take care of their own property, so we're here. Everybody evacuated, and the reason we were called in was because there's actually nobody here to guard their own personal property. They're not back in town yet. So
you expect trouble?
No, not really. If people see us and they see the uniforms and they see patrol cars, it'll be a good deterrent.
Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thanks very much. Okay, trouble. Speaking of trouble, we saw it last night. I don't want to get away without thanking our crew, our very brave crew, Tom and Stike, and the folks in the truck, and the producers, and everyone that worked so hard to get us on. There's some good pictures from this town. You got to think a real sense for what it looked like, a Category 4 storm storming the coast. Now, I'm Jeff Flock, CNN, reporting live from Morgan City, Louisiana.
Thanks to you, Jeff, and Ed Garston. In Dade County, Florida, Hurricane Andrew left about 250,000 people homeless. President Bush has freed $10 million that will put unemployed Floridians to work cleaning up what Andrew has left behind. CNN's Brian Cabell reports amidst the unprecedented damage, some order is beginning to return.
It was a phenomenon long feared and long expected in South Florida, a monster hurricane slamming into this highly populated area. The preliminary toll is now coming in. Deaths perhaps are lower than expected, but the damage estimate is $15 to $20 billion. 60,000 homes are now said to be uninhabitable. More than a dozen shelters are still open, housing 35,000 people. Thousands of others are staying with relatives. Florida Power and Light reports 600,000 customers, that's homes and businesses, are still without electricity. But some customers in the most damaged areas may be in the dark for months, even years. Roads have been cleared remarkably quickly of trees and debris, but traffic lines, mostly returning residents, have become unmanageable at times. Tempers are short, lines are long, but gas stations are slowly reopening after a 3-day hiatus. Water is still at a premium, lines were cut, but regular distribution points have been set up. Most hospitals are operating, though 2 were severely damaged. Injury totals from Andrew? Who knows at this point?
It's hard to compile total numbers. Our normal reporting techniques are not being used. We have extensive reports, which we don't have time to deal with right now.
The Miami airport, which normally handles 1,300 flights a day, is now operating on a limited basis. Many flights have been canceled. No postal service yet. In fact, some postal trucks are hauling fallen trees. Schools are scheduled to open next week.
At this point, that is not really a top priority. A lot of the schools are still shelters, so it'd be kind of difficult to hold classes there.
Many stores, provided they have electricity and roofs, have reopened. Downtown Miami, generally speaking, fared quite well in the storm. Some fallen trees and signs, broken windows, ripped awnings, but apparently no serious structural damage. Life should return to normal here within a week. Broward County, north of Miami, did even better. It was far from the eye of Andrew. But in South Dade, the far southern tip of Florida, home to many trailer parks and poorer people, a different, sadder story. Life will have to re-arise from the rubble. Brian Cabell, CNN, Miami.
Still to come on Prime News, we shift our focus to the Persian Gulf, where U.S. pilots are getting ready to enforce a new ultimatum against Iraq. At 1:30, the personal side of Mother Nature's impersonal fury. We'll listen to the stories being told by families whose lives have been changed by Hurricane Andrew. And toward the end of the program, at 1:55, a skyline that doesn't take your breath away. We'll find out what happened to the smog.
Stop! This Charmin's not squeezably soft.
Maybe the fluffer broke down.
Oh, no. We fluffed every sheet of Charmin for a deep-down squeezable softness.
So if it's not squeezable...
It's not Charmin.
Hey, what's this?
That's it. You fixed the fluffer. It's squeezable again.
So's this cheap, new potpourri scented Charmin. The scent's put on the core, not the paper.
Makes sense to me.
Charmin's so pleasable.
Because it's so squeezable.
To get rid of her gray, my wife can spend 40 minutes. But I discovered the 5-minute hair coloring.
The revolutionary discovery called Just for Men from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes shampoo out.
Gray is blended away. The look of my natural color is back in 5 minutes. That was me, and it won't fade or wash out.
My hair takes forever, but
You look great in just 5 minutes.
The look of your natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
Thanks to an incredible new development at Pip Printing, you can now get these 4-color jobs for surprisingly few of these 1-color jobs. Advantage Color. One more reason Pip Printing is the best business printer in the business.
Oh, great. Just what my stomach needs. Here comes my obnoxious boss.
Hi, Daddy.
Oh, boy.
Better make it Malox, because extra strength Malox Plus neutralizes more acid than Mylanta. So you better make it Malox.
It's about 90s style, fashion, decor, and beauty. It's about living, your health, exercise, and medicine. It's about the world, where to go, what to see, and how to get there. It's about taste, good food, and cuisine. It's about showbiz, entertainment, and glitz. It's about everything that interests you. I'm Christy Brinkley. Join me for Living in the 90s. Premieres September 14th, only on CNN.
Nearly a year and a half after the Gulf War ended, another showdown with Saddam Hussein could be in the making. Within hours, the United States, Britain, France, and Russia will implement their no-fly zone over southern Iraq. CNN's Mary Tillotson reports.
The U.S.-led Gulf War coalition has drawn another line in the sand in Iraq, attempting to protect Shiite Muslim dissidents and also attempting to box in Saddam Hussein so that he can be toppled from power. President Bush and other coalition leaders have told Saddam that he may not use Iraqi aircraft to attack Shiites south of Iraq's 32nd parallel after 10:15 Thursday morning, Washington time. The implied threat, Iraqi planes or helicopters violating that ultimatum will be shot down.
No one should doubt our readiness to respond decisively to Iraq's failure to respect the no-fly zone.
Just as coalition forces maintain a no-fly zone in the north to protect Kurds above the 36th parallel, Mr. Bush says coalition planes will fly surveillance in the southern zone, trying to stop Iraqi airstrikes against Shiites there.
We now know of Saddam's use of helicopters and beginning this spring fixed-wing aircraft to bomb and strafe civilians and villages there in the south.
The U.S. refused to offer air support to the Shiites 18 months ago when Saddam was brutally attacking both them and Kurds in the north. U.S. officials say they are helping now for 2 reasons. Coalition leaders are satisfied Iraqi Shiites do not want to join forces with Iranian Shiites, which could mean splintering Iraq. And coalition leaders are persuaded, they say, that Saddam's mistreatment of his people is intensifying. Iraq's ambassador to the United Nations insists his government is being falsely accused. He says the crisis could be diffused by the UN sending an inspection team into southern Iraq.
And Iraq would welcome a visit by such a committee to investigate the situation on the ground and to report to the country's concern.
But the Iraqi government has resisted cooperating with UN inspectors already there. And Democratic presidential candidate Bill Clinton calls the new threat of military force appropriate.
I think it's a simple case of requiring compliance with the resolution and trying to protect the decency and humanity.
U.S. officials concede they are worried Saddam may retaliate in some way against UN personnel or Westerners in Iraq. Some students of the region think that fits.
And he's being made to look like somebody who no longer is leading his country. Under these circumstances, he may do something imprudent simply in order to prove he is still in control.
The next shoe could drop as early as mid-morning Thursday if Saddam Hussein decides to defy the new no-fly zone and test the coalition's willingness to use military force once again. Mary Tillotson, CNN, the White House.
And in about 14 hours, allies will begin enforcing that ban on the Iraqi aircraft below that nation's 32nd parallel. United States Pentagon officials say that Iraq has removed most of its warplanes from the no-fly zone. They say keeping Iraqi aircraft out of the sky will make it harder for Baghdad's ground forces to track Shiite insurgents while serving Allied purposes.
The purpose of establishing the no-fly zone, and I would emphasize it's a no-fly zone, not a security zone, is to ensure the safety of coalition aircraft monitoring Iraqi compliance with United Nations Security Council Resolution 688, which forbids the repression of the Iraqi people. Naturally, the establishment of this no-fly area will, to some extent, have the effect of protecting the people in that region. And as was mentioned, if Iraq violates the no-fly rule, the coalition forces will respond appropriately and decisively to any failure to comply with that requirement.
The United States, Britain, and France are sending additional war and surveillance planes to the Gulf region to monitor Iraqi plane movements. The U.S. aircraft carrier Independence is in the central Persian Gulf and will play a major role in enforcing the ban.
The talks meant to stop the bloodshed began today, but the fighting flares on in shattered Yugoslavia. The hard road to peace ahead on Prime News.
Car enthusiasts have helped send the prices of some classic Jaguars to astonishing levels. But the price of one is still very affordable, the 1992 Jaguar sedan. Introducing the Jaguar Super Leases, with lease terms so attractive, they make the Jaguar sedan beautiful from every perspective, including the financial one. Jaguar, a blending of art and machine. For your nearest Jaguar dealer, call toll-free.
Put the power of an upright in the palm of your hand with the Royal Dirt Devil. The Dirt Devil is lightweight, powerful, and has a wide opening with a revolving brush, so it's easy to do quick cleanups on even the toughest dirt. And Dirt Devil has an extra long cord to make steps short work. Get a handful of power. Get a Dirt Devil, a handheld vacuum that picks up where the others leave off.
Some people are still wondering if PIP does multicolor printing. The answer is yes, we do a little. Enough to fill this little football field every day. Color printing. One more reason PIP printing is the best business printer in the business.
Coming this fall to CNN, 6 one-hour specials every voter should see. Democracy in America. We'll examine racial tension in this country, the outlook for creating jobs and employing Americans, how to make the government work again, profiles of the vice presidential candidates, Bill Clinton, where he comes from and what he's done, and a look at George Bush's political career. Democracy in America, beginning September 20th, only on CNN.
Neo-Nazis battle German police in another night of anti-immigrant violence. Chanting Germany for Germans, the far-right youths have clashed with police for 5 nights straight. Much of this violence is centered on a home for immigrant seekers near Rostock. The violence sparked counter-demonstrations in Berlin, where marchers accused Germany's government of not protecting refugees. German politicians have called for a review of the country's liberal asylum laws. This year's influx of refugees in Germany may double the 1991 record of 256,000.
Countries from around the world today began to search for peace in shattered Yugoslavia. They started by condemning Serbia and warning that aggressors face prosecution for war crimes. 300 delegates representing 30 nations are attending the conference in London. They include the European Community and the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, along with the republics that splintered out of Yugoslavia. Also there, demonstrators pleading the cases of the warring sides. Inside, the big powers aimed their warnings squarely at Serbia. The U.S. accused Serbian forces of spreading, quoting now, ethnic cleansing like a cancer in Europe.
I think you'll see that before this conference is over, there are a number of steps that we're willing to take that will make life more difficult for the aggressors in what was Yugoslavia.
If we do not get cooperation, the pressure will inexorably increase. Condemnation, isolation. Parties who stand in the way of agreement can expect even tougher sanctions.
In Bosnia, fighting grinds on, threatening to make a mockery of the proceedings. Sarajevo was racked by some of the worst shelling in a month. It set fire to the nearly 100-year-old town hall. Firefighters tried to put the fire out despite low water pressure, but repeated attacks kept the fire going. 4 apartment buildings were also set on fire, killing 3 children and 3 adults. It appears Czechoslovakia will split into 2 separate nations on New Year's Day. Czech and Slovak leaders agreed to the breakup date today after 8 hours of talks. They say they have decided how to divide the federation, but that more agreements are still needed. Also, before the breakup can happen, the Czechoslovakian parliament must officially approve it. The Czechs and Slovaks were forced to form a federation 74 years ago by the winners of World War I.
When we come back, by a process of elimination, firefighters zero in on the cause of a huge wildfire. Karen?
Well, Bernie, we'll give you an update on the status of Andrew, where it's headed next, and what kind of damage you may expect as CNN's Prime News continues.
I'm talking about a new heart, new life. It was simple. You can't believe what it does for your system. Your eyes see things a whole new way. You run faster, you get more done, you have more fun. It's not some wild promise. I've experienced it.
If a computer's at the heart of what you do, the OS2 operating system should be at the heart of your computer.
I'm living proof that it works.
July 1992. Oldsmobile goes further than any other car company to redefine quality. Further than the lab, further than the test track. The Oldsmobile Achieva went 100,000 miles against Honda Accord and Toyota Camry in a real-world test. Independent test results prove Achieva outperformed Accord and Camry in total cost, which includes maintenance, repair, and operating costs. Achieva, quality redefined. From the company that went far enough to prove it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Weekend. No tie, no briefcase, just plastic.
It all boils down to this. No other card you can carry is accepted in more places and in more ways.
Food.
At home and abroad.
I got it.
Than MasterCard. It's the only card you need.
Rooms.
MasterCard.
Not a bad day's work.
Master the moment.
Of all the things around your house that need batteries, there's one thing that needs a good, fresh battery most of all. See your Allstate agent for a free home fire safety brochure. And please, check the battery in your smoke detector often.
Arson is now suspected in California's worst forest fire in 5 years. The fire at Northern California's Shasta National Forest is nearly a week old now and has burned 65,000 acres. Authorities say arson is the only possible explanation for the fire that has destroyed hundreds of homes and forced thousands of evacuations. The Shasta fire is among several burning in the west, including one near Yosemite National Park. But the biggest, near Boise, Idaho, measures 400 square miles. Containment of that huge Idaho fire isn't expected for 11 more days.
Well, let's check the weather forecast with CNN's Karen McGinnis and ask her, where is Tropical Storm Andrew now, Karen?
Well, Bernie, it has been downgraded to a tropical storm. It's hanging around Natchez, Mississippi. That's right along the border between Louisiana and Mississippi. It's moving very slowly towards the north, but there is a frontal system that is looming here. It's pushing across the nation's midsection. This is really the dividing line between the warmer air out ahead of it and the much cooler air behind it. We've seen kind of an outbreak associated with Andrew, and the latest outbreak has taken place near Meridian, Mississippi. That's the east central section of the state. A tornado was reported, and the Civil Defense reports that there was a mobile home destroyed, 5 houses damaged, and several injuries to report, as well as trees and power lines down. Well, for Thursday morning, this is what we're going to depict as Andrew, this area of low pressure. In fact, it may move a little bit further towards the east, but generally speaking, it'll be over Mississippi, get caught up in this frontal system and really head towards the east. But now what do we have to worry about as we move you through Thursday afternoon? It's going to be the flooding. Flooding is going to be a major problem across the Gulf Coast states and then eventually moving into the central and southern Appalachians. We looked at some of the computer models. They're suggesting 3 to 5 inches of rainfall certainly may be common. And for the rest of the evening, especially across east central Louisiana and many sections of Mississippi, a tornado, the potential for tornadic activity certainly exists. This is the kind of thing that you see with remnants of storm systems like this. Houston, you're looking at 89 degrees. Miami, you're okay for now. We don't have have many reports out of there because of Homestead, the reporting station down there, just has not been receiving or sending out any information. Into the west, the fire danger still remains quite high because of the hot and dry air mass over the state. The temperatures are running about 5 to 10 degrees above normal. Humidity's on the low side, so that really does contribute to that serious fire danger across all the western states. Well, look how much of the nation's going to be in the clear, but by Friday morning, the really soggy weather extends from the eastern Great Lakes down across the mid-Atlantic and to the Carolinas, and unfortunately for Miami, by Friday afternoon, a 40% chance of showers. Now, here's the latest coordinates. If you're still plotting this storm, 31.2 degrees north, 91.5 degrees west. It is moving slowly towards the north. We anticipate it'll move a little up into Arkansas and then start sweeping over towards the northeast. Now, we've got a few forecasts coming up for tomorrow. We will keep you updated on Tropical Storm Andrew throughout the evening. Bernie?
Thank you, Karen. Coming up on Prime News, Andrew's terrible impact.
Unbelievable that you have so much one day and the next day it's all gone.
We will visit a Florida family shattered by the hurricane's fury.
This is what...
Prime News continues, followed by Larry King Live after this local commercial break. Next on CNN.
Chest tightness or shortness of breath, severe indigestion and nausea, left arm or jaw pain. If you suffer from any of these symptoms, call your doctor or get to the Baptist Chest Pain Center fast. The professional medical staff is available day or night to help determine if you are experiencing a heart attack. Quick action can save your life.
How low can you go? Find out how much you can save on your next car or truck by making your best buy at Capital. After 55 years in business, if they can't come up with your best buy, who can?
At Capital Chevrolet Geo, your best buys include a 92 Chevy Lumina 4-door for only $11,999. Save over $3,200 and pay only $189.75 per month. This is not a lease. See it today, drive it home tonight.
Get your best buy today and every day at Capital. This is CNN.
It's been more than 2 days since Hurricane Andrew slammed into South Florida. Now tens of thousands of survivors are wondering, where is the federal disaster aid? We'll have a progress report on the new AIDS-fighting drug DDI. The latest research is encouraging. Also, how a gritty city is becoming a pretty city. Those stories all coming up on Prime News. But first, survivors of Hurricane Andrew are beginning to tell their stories. In one of the hardest hit towns of South Florida, one family talks about how death came knocking at the door. CNN's Bonnie Anderson has their story.
So we have to improvise.
They are longtime Homestead residents, a family of police officers whose lives have been dedicated to serving the public. Their lives are now in a shambles. Still, they're worried most about their neighbors.
When you take a ride out, all the devastation really gets to you. So, I thank God I'm still here. My family is safe, and we'll make it.
Major Jim Radizak and his wife Bernice rode out the hurricane at their daughter, Officer Becky Brown's nearby home. Her husband, a mounted officer, stayed with his horses at the police stable. The family says it took pure muscle to keep the storm from breaking down the front door.
We were home for about 45 minutes.
On the floor.
Seemed like 10 hours. Because we were both tired. The water was coming in, we were slipping backwards.
It was very frightening. The most frightening thing I ever went through in my whole life.
I was just, trying to pump yourself up and just going, no, you can't come in,
But much of the storm did, tearing off part of the roof. Becky spends much of her time now scavenging for boards, for anything they can use for repairs. The job, she says, is daunting.
What should I do first? Because there's so much to do, you don't know what's the most important thing to do. Is it the food? Is it the water? Is it the shelter? Should I, do the house first? Should I put the roof on?
In the living room, police weapons are loaded and ready. Looters, they say, will not take what little they or their neighbors have left.
With all the looting, I I just don't understand why people are out there taking stuff when, you know, there's been such a tragedy.
For Jim and Bernice Radizak, the extent of their personal tragedy wasn't clear until they went to their own home, what was left of it.
Total devastation. It's unbelievable that you have so much one day and the next day it's all gone.
It was the home of their dreams, bought 4 years ago with a lifetime of savings from a police officer's salary.
This is what was our living room.
What the storm didn't blow away was destroyed. For the Radizaks, it was truly a day of heartbreak.
This is our guest room.
Just unbelievable. In a few hours, what can be destroyed, what you work years for.
I've cried and cried, but I know we have to get on with this, and there's probably people that are worse off than we are. And as soon as we get ourselves together, I know I'm going to be out there trying to help someone else.
Because you work hard all your life. We're like Bernie said again, we're not the only ones in that boat. Some people worse off than we are. At least we got our loved ones right here. And we will help other people.
But they say it may take the rest of their lives to recover emotionally. Bonnie Anderson, CNN, Homestead, Florida.
Insurance companies are being swamped with claims as the damage toll from Hurricane Andrew rises in Florida and Louisiana. Emergency management officials in Florida estimate damage to be at least $15 billion. But some in the insurance industry predict insured losses will be less than the $4.2 billion in claims from 1989's Hurricane Hugo. Analysts are saying that with $160 billion in surplus capital, the insurance industry is prepared to cope with the flood of claims from Andrew. With their lives devastated by Andrew, some residents of South Florida are still waiting for help. CNN's Charles Jacob talked to those trying to cope in some of the hardest hit areas.
Johnny Simpson, his wife, and 9 children survived barely. Their roof is gone, and they sleep under the sky or in their van.
We haven't gotten any word concerning anything concerning food, water, shelter, medication, nothing.
Nothing from the government at all?
Nothing from the government at all.
Convoys of National Guard troops snake through South Florida's devastation. Their job is to help keep order.
A lot of kids need medication like her. She needs a treatment 3 times a day, and I don't have a generator or nothing to plug it up to.
But they've ended up providing everything from medical aid to food to water, but some people wonder if anybody's in charge.
There's nobody making plans to bring water to these people that we can tell, because we've got water trailers sitting over here.
Just
more than one. One will supply us. You know, take the other one, put it behind a truck, tell them where to be, and we'll bring water to them.
People all over this storm-blasted area say the same thing. They have no food, no water, no medicine, and no idea where aid from the state or the federal government is.
Please don't drink the water, okay? It has not been sterilized.
A few blocks from the National Guard headquarters in the Cutler Ridge neighborhood, a volunteer group of Florida Baptists is distributing food and water. They say they haven't seen hide nor hair of the government. Any government.
The only government people I've seen here is the National Guard, and they were handing out donuts this morning and handing out sea rations this afternoon. And as far as government aid, quote unquote, no, I haven't seen any at all.
President Bush has pledged $50 million in federal disaster aid and has also promised to create several thousand local jobs cleaning up the mess. As for delays, almost 3 days after the storm hit,
it's very hard to get in and put facilities up and get them manned when the support elements for people that you're bringing in, the buildings themselves are damaged, and power is not up.
And while official agencies say they're trying, people in this destroyed area are also trying, apparently, on their own. For people like Johnny Simpson and his family, and for thousands of others, promises of government help remain just that, promises. And promises don't help feed 9 kids or help keep the rain out. Charles Jacob, CNN, Gould, Florida.
The first pictures are finally available from the place Hurricane Andrew hit first, the Bahamas. The storm left at least 3 people dead last Sunday as it roared through the outer island of Eleuthera, about 225 miles east of Miami. Dozens of homes were leveled or badly damaged. But other tourist areas like Nassau and Freeport were spared Andrew's full force. Also, the Bahamas' major airports are open.
Some concrete proposals for Palestinian self-rule in today's round of Middle East peace talks. And the Iran-Contra trial of Claire George ends for now. Coming up on Prime News.
Football fans, here it comes. Sports Illustrated gets you ready for the excitement of NFL football in this amazing new video. The 1992 Pro Football Spectacular, an action-packed preview of the 92 season. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to capture all the action and emotion of sports every week. Sports Illustrated's free video preview will put you in places you've never been before.
Stay at home if you don't want to get hit.
You'll not only get the best of last season, Sports Illustrated will give you their view of which teams could be next year's champions.
If I were to pick one right now, I'd say the Dallas Cowboys.
And who is the best coach, the best running back, and the quarterback you want in the clutch.
He's a great quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Starting today.
Call this toll-free number now and get a spectacular 44-minute preview of the 92 NFL season. Free from Sports Illustrated.
I love you, Mom.
Plus, you'll get a second video free with your paid subscription. Sports Illustrated will give you the NFL video of your favorite team, no matter which team you prefer. Pick any one of the 28 team videos. It's your choice, and it's a free choice from Sports Illustrated. Your team video will take you through the 91 season from end zone to end zone, from the sidelines to the locker room. Plus, you'll find out what's new for 92.
Anybody nervous? Anybody scared?
Get your 2 free videos, then 30 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.49 an issue. Save 50% off the cover price. Call now to subscribe or renew and experience football from a different angle with Sports Illustrated and your 2 free videos. The Pro Football Spectacular, plus the NFL team video of your choice. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. With your 2 free videos, you'll catch the best of the year, and you'll keep the excitement coming your way every week in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Israel today unveiled a detailed plan for Palestinian self-rule, adding momentum to the Middle East peace talks here in Washington. The Israeli proposal came on day 3 in this fresh round of talks at the State Department. It calls for an administrative council in the occupied territories. The council would oversee daily affairs, but security and defense issues would remain in Israeli hands. The initial Palestinian reaction: the plan does not go far enough, but could be a starting point for further talks.
A mistrial was declared today in the Iran-Contra trial of former CIA spy chief Claire George. A federal judge set October 19th as the new trial date, but the defense says it will ask the prosecution to drop the case altogether. George is accused of lying to Congress about the Reagan administration's secret arms sales to Iran and about Oliver North's military supply network for the Nicaraguan Contras. The mistrial came on the 6th day of deliberations. Jurors said they were deadlocked, with a majority favoring acquittal on all counts. A fraud indictment against the former head of the Jimmy Carter Presidential Center. A federal grand jury in Atlanta charges that George Schirra conned one of the center's contributors out of $650,000. Prosecutors say the money turned up in Schirra's personal bank account in London. Today, Schirra's whereabouts are unknown. He was hired by the former president to be the center's first executive director, but he was fired in 1987, the year before the alleged fraud took place.
Orders for durable goods plummeted 3.4% in the month of July. Durable goods are items expected to last 3 years or more. Now, this is the sharpest drop in 7 months, causing some economists to question anew the health of the economy. The stock market was up today. The Dow Industrials gained more than 14 points to close at 3246.
A series of blood tests may help double the chance of determining whether an unborn child is likely to have Down syndrome. Researchers say the testing will help women under 35 avoid amniocentesis, which increases the risk of miscarriage. About 1 out of every 600 babies, 650 babies right now, is born with Downs. That includes retardation and physical abnormalities. The blood test checked for 3 proteins that signal the syndrome. The results would help in deciding whether to proceed with amniocentesis, which involves drawing a sample of fluid from the womb.
Studies have shown AZT to be the most effective anti-AIDS drug. But CNN's Don Knapp reports some researchers in San Francisco say they are getting better results when they switch their patients from AZT to DDI.
How have you been, Jared? Oh, not bad.
For the past 6 months, didanosine, or DDI, has been the drug of choice in this private AIDS clinic in San Francisco.
From our experience, patients do better clinically, they feel better clinically on DDI, and the increases in their T-cell function and their immune system are higher and more sustained on DDI than compared to AZT.
Now, a study by AIDS researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, shows significant benefit for those patients who switched to DDI after using AZT.
DDI significantly delayed HIV progression compared to those patients who remained on AZT.
The study, which appears in the current edition of the New England Journal of Medicine, found HIV-infected patients who switched to a low dose of DDI had fewer AIDS-related complications or deaths compared to those who remained on AZT.
And the fact that patients on 500 milligrams did better than those on 750 milligrams might just be that those people on 500 were able to stay on their medicine longer.
Because of the toxicity?
It could be from the toxicity, it could be from side effects.
It felt on the AZT kind of like a low-grade hangover. So
Ron Patton switched from AZT to DDI as part of the study. He says his life improved significantly.
Just in terms of like a quality of life issue, it was a big deal, because when you wake up in the morning and you feel lousy day after day, it starts to wear down on you.
DDI is approved by the federal government for use as an alternative to AZT for those who can't tolerate it or get no benefit from it.
DDI should be approved for first-line therapy if it's as good as or better than AZT. We'll know that in 6 months. We don't know that now.
Dr. David Senechek claims patients in his practice did best when they took DDI in combination with AZT.
And that combination is extremely effective and has actually put some of our patients in what appears to be clinical remission, where they have stable immune systems that are sustained over at least a year period, and for all intents and purposes, they're healthy.
New studies underway examine whether DDI should be used before AZT or with AZT. But DDI is no panacea. Common side effects include tingling in the arms and legs and inflammation of the pancreas, which can be fatal. Don Knapp, CNN, San Francisco.
I don't know how to say, words, no, what's the word? It's not coming out right.
It's easier done than said. Let someone know you're thinking about them. Call 1-800-FLOWERS. Our name is our number. We'll deliver beautiful flowers anywhere to anyone, guaranteed. All you need is a credit card and a telephone for FTD service.
1-800-FLOWERS. Carol Lee speaking.
Yeah, if you would...
Call 1-800-FLOWERS for all your special occasions.
As communism collapsed in the Soviet Union, he held a front row seat. Now ask former Kremlin insider Georgy Abertov if he thinks United States pressure made the difference. Tonight, Larry King Live, 9 Eastern on CNN.
Hey, Hannon! Lunch!
Hey, all right.
No! I mean, see what everybody wants. 2 cheeseburgers and quarter pounder with cheese!
Large fry?
Big Mac. Make it 2! Got it, kid.
With McDonald's Extra Value Meals, you can order your favorite food by number. Served up fast, guaranteed. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Hannon! Nice job. It's yours from now on.
Where can you use the Players Club card? Las Vegas, Atlantic City, the Caribbean, on cruise ships. Sometimes you just need to get away from it, all right? But these days, you gotta be smart about it. With a Players Club card, you save 50% off your room, 25% off food and drinks, up to 50% off shows. The Players Club card. Have some fun the smart way.
New members get 2 free nights in Las Vegas or Atlantic City when the club books their flights. Call toll-free right now. There's no obligation.
Now for something completely different. Spain is famous, of course, for festivals with bulls, but this Spanish celebration is a little bit safer. In today's Festival of Buñol, some 15,000 people joyfully wallow in more than 220,000 pounds of ripe tomatoes.
Well, around here, we only throw bouquets at Nick Charles. Here he is with sports now.
Thank you. Looked like that old movie, The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Bernie. The NFL season begins a week from Sunday, and today the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers worked a deal. The 49ers sent talented but controversial linebacker Charles Haley to the Cowboys for a series of conditional draft picks. Haley's a 6-year veteran pass rushing specialist who's been All-Pro several times but has been unhappy with San Francisco management. Now, though, he's in Dallas. The 49ers' compensation could involve first, second, and third-round draft choices, depending on how well Haley does for the Cowboys. Well, the 49ers made another surprise move today when coach George Seifert announced Joe Montana had tested his surgically repaired throwing elbow for the first time in nearly a month and would suit up for the final exhibition game Friday night. Well, Hurricane Andrew's after effects have been devastating, but in a much smaller sense have even affected sports. The powerful University of Miami football team had to move preseason workouts 140 miles north today to Vero Beach. The team, ironically called the Hurricanes, was co-national champion last year and is ranked first in most preseason polls. Shortages of food, water, and electricity also forced university officials to push back the start of classes more than 2 weeks to September 14th. Well, the selling job began today for the November 13th title fight when Evander Holyfield puts it on the line against Riddick Bowe. As we see it, Bowe is unbeaten and an honest-to-good contender.
Riddick Bowe is unbeaten and big, but maybe too big. Check out his last fight. Why, he was bursting at the seams against Pierre Kutzer.
The thing that really excited me was your big butt. When your trunk split. And that was only from a Kutzer jab. Remember that? Now, either your trunks were too small or your butt is too big. I don't know yet. We've got to look at the tape again, you know?
But maybe size is the big issue. The Bowe camp says they have a good big man fighting a good little man. And no matter how nice a guy the champ is.
He's always been a great guy. Ever since I've known him back in '85, and it's going to be a shame for me to jump on him like I am.
Since Holyfield knocked Buster Douglas into oblivion and became champ, the crown's never quite fit. He beat a sideshow in George Foreman, got rocked by last-minute sub Bert Cooper, and was taken the distance by Grandpa Larry Holmes. So this could be his ticket to credibility.
You know, it's an honor to fight Riddick Bowe and to show people what I have, and I can thank Riddick Bowe for accepting the challenge.
If you're looking for hype, there is none. Not from a champion who shakes hands with the enemy, who happens to think he's a great guy too.
That fight November 13th in Las Vegas. That'll do it for now. A full half hour of CNN Sports coming up at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, all the baseball and more. But now Prime News continues in Washington with Bernard Shaw.
Thanks, Nick. We'll be watching. Coming up next, if you haven't seen Pittsburgh lately, it's probably been a long time since you've really seen Pittsburgh. We'll explain when we come back.
Welcome to the 90s. The new Audi 90. To drive it is to take control.
They're tiny portraits of a people. They sing of our heroes and celebrate our homeland. as many reasons to love stamps as there are people who love them. These are stamps worth saving. Ask for the wildflower stamps at your post office now.
Tonight on Sports Tonight, all the baseball, and we'll see if the pennant races could tighten up. Also, how the hurricane affects the world of sports, and the heavyweight champion meets his next opponent on the podium. See you at 11 o'clock Eastern tonight.
The wealth of Pittsburgh was built on the brawn of steel workers, coal miners, railroad men, and on the mills that defined the term smokestack industry. Now, many of the big mills are gone, but Jim Hill reports those that remain don't pollute as they did in the past.
On a clear day, you can almost see forever, and that's saying a lot considering this is Pittsburgh.
They simply decided that they were going to get rid of those gray skies and begin to improve their factories and control the pollution, and they did it.
Only 40 years ago, it was called the Smoky City. The coal, steel, and railroad industries blackened the sky with their sooty grime.
Everybody had trouble with their lungs, coughing and so on.
But Pittsburghers love to point out that was then and this is now.
So you can see blue sky.
Pittsburgh's cleanup began just after World War II. It created one of the nation's first air pollution control boards. It cracked down on industry and converted the entire city's home heating from coal to natural gas. By the time of the National Clean Air Act, Pittsburgh was a prototype.
Not only were a lot of the first efforts to clean up pollution based on Allegheny County's and Pittsburgh's example, but many of the technologies that have been used to clean up air pollution have been developed here.
For years, the steel industry fueled Pittsburgh's economy and fouled its air. But the 1970s saw a sharp decline for the mills that once lined the Monongahela River. Pittsburgh, the steel city, had a great deal to do with making Pittsburgh the Smoky City. And the greatest increase in air quality did come at a time when many steel mills were closing down. But the mills that remain are much different than their pollution-belching ancestors. This mill remains the nation's biggest producer of high-tech alloys. It spent $40 million on pollution control, including 2 giant vacuum systems to capture smoke. Pittsburgh also has the nation's largest coke plant, where coal is processed into fuel for the steel mills. It still accounts for 36% of the county's toxic air pollution, but officials say that is a fraction of what it used to be.
We have completed well over 98% of the job that we initially had in the 1970s.
But some environmentalists say business was dragged kicking and screaming into the shift from heavy industry to gleaming office towers, and the coke plants still emit cancer-causing pollutants.
We've learned more and we know more, and what we learn scares us.
Still, Pittsburgh is a far cry from what it used to be.
Now, we're not Wyoming, we're not Colorado, but certainly our areas of cities our size is good, if not better, than others.
For this city, a clear day may be a clear victory. Jim Hill, CNN, Pittsburgh.
Thanks for watching Prime News. I'm Cheryl Atkinson at the CNN Center in Atlanta. Good night, Bernie.
Good night, Cheryl. I'm Bernard Shaw in Washington. Larry King Live is next. Here's Larry with a preview.
Thanks, Bernie. Ahead on Larry King Live, Elizabeth Dole, the president of the American Red Cross, will join others to discuss the aftermath of Hurricane Andrew. We'll also meet one of Boris Yeltsin's top advisors. All ahead next on Larry King Live. Stay right here.
Coming up, Larry King Live, followed by World News after a word from your local cable system here on CNN.
I had a lot going for me. Job, friends, all the cocaine that I wanted. After a while, all I wanted was cocaine. I had a problem. Bradford showed me what to do about it. They're a group of caring professionals that showed me how to live without cocaine. You know, you hear that cocaine is the big lie. That's true. Let me tell you another truth. We beat it.
Recovery can become a reality. Call us toll-free, 1-800-777-6938.
Honey, I can't believe this. Look at all these couches.
Look at the great prices.
Does that mean we can get 3?
Huh?
The Sprint's 11th anniversary sale.
325 White Bridge Road, Nashville.
For the last big fight, I paid a bundle to go out and watch the back of some guy's head. This time, me and the guys are all watching at my house on pay-per-view for a lot less. Closed circuit, closed subject.
Make the choice. Make your day pay-per-view.
When we bought the place, I was really no stranger to it, but we came here as small children and were raised at the Loveless Cafe. We've been getting Purity dairy products for almost all of the 19 years I've been here. We use the Purity buttermilk in our famous homemade biscuits, and that's what makes them so good and rich. We know that Purity is the best product, and that's what we serve. That's why we serve it. They love it. That's the difference.
It's our super summertime sale, and it's happening right now at Rivergate Toyota in Madison. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Walters. Here's just one more example of how it can save you money. Hurry in right now. You can take a choice. You can buy a brand new Toyota Tercel, just like this one, 0 down, $159 a month, or you can buy a brand new Toyota sport truck for the same low price, just $159 a month.